Hello everybody, welcome to MAT0018 online for Summer B 2019. This is going to be an online pre-algebra class, but keep in mind that there will be two specific dates, one for a midterm exam and one for a final exam that you will have to show up on campus or to a testing center to take. So this course, the purple one here, you can ignore the others. This is our course that you should see when you log into Canvas. And when you look at the main page, you'll see the very first thing at the top is the syllabus quiz. Please take this quiz. It's due July 1st. This syllabus quiz just has a couple basic things in it, like it asks when is the midterm exam, when is the final exam, how do you email me, like just basic questions. It's not going to count for a grade. It's just going to be a way of making sure that you are physically enrolled in the course and active, and you're a living, breathing human being on the other end of the spectrum. So make sure you complete the syllabus quiz. It's a mandatory quiz, but it's not going to affect your grade in any way. Once you're done with that, you'll notice that I posted my office hours. There's just a door schedule of when I'm in class. Since you guys are online, it's probably easiest just to email me. And you can email me through Canvas using the inbox over here. You can see I have one email waiting for me. Or you can use your regular student SCF email. Please don't use your Gmail or Hotmail or any other type of email address. I'm not allowed to respond to those. It's got to be through Canvas or through your official student email. But if you need help or you want to see me on campus, just email me. We could set something up. Otherwise, I'll put my schedule there just in case. Also at the very bottom, you've got the midterm study guide and the final exam study guide. Keep in mind that these are due. The midterm study guide is due to be turned in to me, or at least somehow scanned and emailed to me on the day of the midterm exam, which is July 16th. And then also on July 30th, the day of the final exam, you have to hand in this final exam study guide. It is worth points. And I will also tell you that these study guides, when you look at them, they have the answers there. So I'm not just looking for the answers. I'm looking for the work. I want to see the effort. I want to see that you guys are actually solving out these problems. And if you're curious as to what the midterm exam is going to look like, it's going to look just like this. I mean, almost shockingly exactly like this. It'll just be some different numbers. But it's going to be very similar, although the midterm exam will be shorter. I wanted to give you some extra practice here. This is like 50 questions. The midterm exam will actually be, I think exactly 20 questions. And it'll be half and half. Half show your work, half multiple choice. So you can see I gave you the answers, so you know if you're doing it right or wrong. Feel free to email me, ask me questions on this. But this is due the day of the midterm. So this will be due on July 16th, the day of the midterm. There's also one for the final exam as well, and they're both going to be up there on the home page ready to go. You can print them out and write on the actual printout, or you can just do the problems on a separate sheet of notebook paper and turn in the notebook paper. That's fine too. But as long as you somehow get these to me on the respective day of those exams, that does count for your grade. So these will count a little bit for your grade. And the syllabus quiz won't, but it is something that needs to be done. I'm going to go through the syllabus real quick. Obviously, it's all there. You can read it at any time you like. I just want to really hit the important stuff, the stuff we discussed today in orientation. Obviously, this is a web-based course, so you're not going to get the benefit of being face-to-face in a classroom setting with a teacher, but you'll still have video lectures that you can watch where someone goes through the material and discusses the concepts. You'll still be able to email me and ask questions on campus. Both campuses of Venice, or I should say all three campuses, Venice, Bradenton, and Lakewood Ranch, all have an academic resource center. Although the one at Lakewood Ranch, I don't know if it's open very much in the summer, but there is still a resource center out there that can help you with some free tutoring. So you've got lots of tools at your disposal. This required lab, don't worry about it. It used to be such that back in the day you had to go to the ARC for an hour a week and actually spend time there. It's all just kind of blended into the course now. So as long as you're doing what's on this Canvas and also the math lab component, the actual homework component, that's all that's really required of you. But of course you can always go to the math lab, which is on campus, it's on the Bradenton campus, it's Building 5. It's the Academic Resource Center. They have the tools available to help you as far as tutoring and stuff like that. Textbook, you don't need the textbook, but you do have to have the My Math Lab. And it says students who are not enrolled in My Math Lab by the end of the first week will be withdrawn from the course. Don't freak out if you can't afford it right now. There is a 2-week free trial. You can at least sign up for the 2-week free trial. So get in there as soon as possible. At least start the free trial, and then later on down the road you can figure it out. Maybe you're waiting for a paycheck or your financial aid hasn't kicked in. We can figure that out at a later time, but get in there. Don't wait 2 or 3 weeks and then come to me and say, oh, you dropped me. Why'd you drop me? Well, you weren't enrolled in my math lab. You're not working. It's only a 6-week course, so if you miss a whole week, you're hurting yourself really, really badly. This highlighted code is the one, that's the instructor ID for the My Math Lab. Now it's called My Lab and Mastering, actually. They changed the name recently. But same program, same software. It should look familiar if you've ever used it before. If you haven't, I'm going to make a separate video walking you through the Math Lab stuff and how you actually do the homework and watch the videos and all that. But this code is really the one thing that you're going to need to bring over when you do get to the actual My Math Lab software. So I'll make a separate video for the Math Lab software. Let me just wrap up this syllabus. As far as materials go, a basic calculator, I mean like a cheap little $2 calculator will get the job done. For the very first half of the course, you're not allowed to use a calculator. This is very tempting to want to just use it because you're online. I can't really watch. I'm not in your house, over your shoulder saying, hey, don't use that calculator. It's up to you to really be honest with yourself. Put the calculator down. Practice your long division. Practice multiplication by hand, pencil and paper. Because the midterm, you are not allowed to use a calculator. And what that is the way we design this course is we want to make sure you get a good foundation of how to do the very basics by hand. And then later on in the course, the second half of the course is when you can be using the calculator for things like percents and decimals. When we get into some word problems, we're going to have to approximate some things. So the calculator will kick in later, but it's just that first half of this course, really try and avoid using that calculator. Be honest with yourself and say, hey, can I do this by hand? Because I have to do it by hand on the midterm. If I'm cheating and using my calculator now on my laptop while I'm at home and no one sees me, yeah, I'll get the points on the homework, but that's only going to hurt you come the midterm. So just get something cheap, real cheap calculator. You can't use your phone or anything like that, so don't even bother. Just go to a store and just buy a really cheap calculator. Something that gets the job done. Plus, minus, multiply, divide's all you need. You don't need any other materials. Like I said, you don't have to buy the actual physical hard copy of the book. You just need to purchase the software. It comes with an electronic version of the book, so that should be good for everybody. But the ARC does have a physical copy of the book. Yeah, you can go there and check it out with your student ID. They also have a student solutions manual. That'll be helpful too if you want to do some extra problems. Big thing here, exams. A lot of this course is going to be exams. Or I should say a lot of your grade is going to be the exams, the midterm exam and the final exam. And the dates are right here under the whole exam section. The midterm is Tuesday, July 16th from 3 to 4. And you can just come and take it on campus, or you can schedule to take it in the testing center. Be aware that if you do schedule to take it in the testing center, you have to schedule to take it sometime on the 16th. Don't tell me you're going to take the midterm come, sometime like July 28th or something. That's way too late. That's not allowed. Everyone has to take it on the same day. It's got to be fair to everybody. Same thing with the final exam. It's July 30th. Don't tell me you're going to take the final exam August 10th. Guess what? Grades were already due on the 31st. I already put in the F. It's just not going to happen. Make sure you are prepared. Oh, I got called into work this morning is not an excuse. Or, oh, I couldn't find a babysitter is not an excuse. If you foresee that's going to be a problem, you need to plan ahead. Just because you have a job doesn't mean I have to bend to your employer. Same thing. Your employer is not going to say, oh, yeah, sure, take the day off because you've got class. He's not or she's not going to bend to my will. You're the one that double booked. This is your responsibility for the next 6 weeks. And I got to be adamant about this. You got to be an adult and you got to handle your situation. You can't put, the same egg in 2 baskets. So you've got to figure out which one you want to go with. If you see that's going to be a problem, email me ahead of the date for the exam and we can work something out. But don't come to me the day after the test and say, oops, I got called into work. I'm going to say, oops, I gave you a 0. That's just fair, right? So be very, very aware of those exams. There are no makeup exams. It's in bold. That's the department policy. Not going to happen. Respect all the due dates. So, and I said this today in orientation, get ahead of it. If you think it's going to be a problem, just be safe and register for a testing appointment in the testing center. If you don't need it, you don't use it. Great. Just who cares? But you saved yourself a spot. That's so much better than getting called into work, missing the exam, and then having to scramble to try and make it up and have me tell you, no, you can't make it up. So if you foresee a problem, get ahead of it. This grading breakdown, it might be a little confusing at first, but it just tells you what all the points are. The midterm study guide is 50 points, midterm exam is 200 points, final study guide is 50 points, final exam is 200 points. The MyMathLab software where you do all your homework is 300 points. That's the bulk of your grade. If you add up all those points, you get a total of 800 points. And then I just take your score from all those different assignments out of 800. And then this just kind of breaks it down and says, once you get 716 points, you've got 90% of the points in the bag. That's an A. You're there. So out of all these different assignments, and there's not a whole lot, most of it's going to be done in the MyMathLab. Out of all those assignments, that builds your total score for the class. Keep in mind, this is the key thing. You have to get a 70% or higher on the final exam. If you've got a perfect 100 going into the final exam, and you don't get 70% or higher on the final exam, I cannot pass you in the course. And we're not doing that to be mean. It's just the department policy that says you need to be able to retain at least 70% of this information in order to be successful moving forward onto 0028. If you can't do 70% of the final exam, you will not be successful in the next course, and you need to go back and fill in all those gaps in that understanding. So again, we're not doing it to be mean. We're doing it to ensure that you will be successful moving forward. That way, you know you have a good foundation of the core concepts, and you can just keep on trucking through. So keep that final exam in mind, and I'll keep reminding everyone as the course goes. You know, make sure you remember you got to really do really well on that final exam. No late work. Respect the due dates. This is a fast-paced course. 6 weeks. It's going to go by really quickly. Every week there's going to be a assignment due on the MyMathLab. The homeworks are going to stack up pretty quickly. Every Sunday at midnight I made them do. No, you cannot do nothing for 3 weeks and then cram it all into the last 3 weeks. It's not a self-paced course. It is a fast-paced course. Respect all the due dates. Attendance-wise, you're online, so you're not going to be showing up. The rest of this stuff, one thing I want to say about the electronics policy, make sure you have good internet. Make sure you got a good internet provider, or you can get to somewhere that has internet reliably, like a Starbucks or a library or something. Don't email me Sunday at 11:30 and tell me, oh, my internet's down, so I can't. Well, I guess, again, I don't know how you'll email me if your internet's down. But don't, email me the next day and say, oh, I lost internet yesterday, so I couldn't finish my homework. Can you open it back up? Not an excuse. You had all week to do it. Why did you wait till the very last minute? You have to have some sort of reliable internet connection. I know I'm throwing a lot at you, but bear with me. I'm almost done with this video. Here's a good number to keep in mind, the MyMathLab number. Sometimes if I could highlight it, sometimes MyMathLab, actually they do maintenance on their servers. Sometimes their website's down. If it's an extended period of time, I will extend the homework. But again, if it's one of those situations where you're emailing me Sunday 5 minutes before midnight when your homework's due, I'm going to say, okay, I'll extend it 5 minutes because that's the only warning you gave me. To be fair, you've had all week to do it. Don't wait till the last minute. Just get out of that habit. That is a terrible habit to have as a college student. Don't procrastinate. The rest of this stuff is just, basic stuff. I'm not going to really go over it here. You can read through it. DRC is pretty important if you feel like you need accommodations. It's got to go through the DRC. They're really helpful. Talk to them if you need anything, like as far as extended testing time or a private testing center or something like that. Yeah, the rest of this is just kind of tips. basically what you're going to do is everything's going to be done on the MyMathLab software. You're not really going to be on Canvas other than to print the midterm study guide and the final exam study guide and look at the schedule here on the syllabus, which is pretty important. Most of the stuff's going to be done in the MyMathLab software, which will be the next video. But the very last page here, just real quick to wrap it up, this gives you the weekly breakdown. So you can see that week 1, yes, there's a lot of sections that we got to cover. We've only got 6 weeks, and we've got to cover what normally a 16-week class goes through. So we've got to cram a lot into every week. You can see it eases up a little as we get closer to the midterm. But then the week of the midterm, notice that you can't just kick your feet up and say, I can take a break because I took the midterm. Nope, you've got a whole other bunch of assignments due the same week of the midterm. So focus on the midterm. It covers the first half of the course. But don't think that you're done after 4.8. It keeps going. You've still got to do the second half of the course and make it all the way to the final exam. So again, the midterm and the final exam dates are here. If someone emails me and says they don't know when the midterm is, I'm going to be upset because not only is it here on the schedule, it's also all the way up on the first page under exams. So you definitely know when these exams are, and you know when you need to be here on campus. And it is up to you. It is solely your responsibility to make other arrangements if you can't be here those times, those days in that nursing building 29, room 157. I'm going to be standing there with a stack of exams. If you don't show up, then it's on you to schedule a testing appointment. So if you have any questions about that or anything on the syllabus or anything from Canvas or the logistics of the course, please email me. Let me know. I'll make a separate post on the Canvas page about how to go about getting your testing appointment set up if you need that. But other than that, I will make another video from my math lab, so I will see you there.